Alrighty guys, welcome. Guys, if there's anyone out there, do say hello. Be shy. How are we all doing today, guys? Someone say good day to me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Finally. Alright, guys. Let's. You just not asking for much. Just a little favor. When you do jump on a stream, just say g'day. Just say hello. That's all you need to do for me, and that would be much appreciated. That and hit the like button so we can get more viewers on the stream. Once again, it's just the way YouTube works. If it finds that the chat rate's ticking over, then it assumes my content is entertaining and it will direct people to the stream. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that for me, guys. It'd be really, it means a lot to me. But anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to get started. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, and wherever you are around the world, very good evening. Hope you're all doing well. On this big day, it's going to be a huge day ahead for obvious reasons. So big day of the news. Obviously we've had some high impact news for the Aussie dollar, which has not really had much of an impact in the end. They've kept rates unchanged, which I think is a good thing, personally, seeing I am here in Oz, and I think if anything they should probably go up before they go down. But obviously looking ahead today, we've got some red follow news for US dollar. Not only that, we have the presidential elections, and it's going to be a huge one, so expect the unexpected today is what I think could happen. We've got to be very careful on the charts, in particular trading any US dollar pair, at that obviously being gold as well. Gold could move quite erratically, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. Would be more, it shouldn't really affect it so much during our session, which is a good thing. We've got a fair bit of time until that will likely kick in, obviously closer towards the NY session. But nonetheless, we'll need to be just a bit wary of that. It might be a little bit quiet, the calm before the storm, on gold prior to it. But anyway, guys, if you're not already done so, please hit that like button and let's get started. Let's have a look at GJ and let's see what we can come up with moving forward today. So looking at GJ, we have again still based on the previous weekly at this stage, which is a weak bullish candle, high low, current candle. Not a great deal of volume, still very early into the week, obviously. Previous daily did close back a bearish candle. Current candle is pulling back quite significantly into that previous daily, though. We're approaching the high of that previous daily candle. If we were to break the high, at that point there, we'll have a higher low, higher high to the previous candle, and then we could end up heading back up towards that to retest that previous high around that 200 sort of level. Structure wise, we do remain bullish, so let's see what we've got on the 4-hour time frame. That remains bearish in structure, as we can see. That's the highest point the market got to. We've obviously closed below the swing point, so this rate until we close back above, it's technically going to be bearish on the 4-hour. Just a slow pullback. Often these slow shallow pullbacks are met by another impulse and continuation in line with the trend. Often we see candles like this form after a bit of a pullback. So we'll see what happens today. We're obviously at a bit of a level of resistance just now on the 4-hour. We'll mark something on the 30 at that current level. Marking these highs for the time being, and obviously we'll adjust things a little bit once we go down to the 30-minute time frame. But structure wise, we do remain bearish. Candle probabilities to the upside. Let's just mark in the previous 4-hour candle high and see what we've got above it. Onto the 30-minute, and we can see we're approaching a resistance here to the left. So I'm just gonna now remove that for the time being. We'll quickly just adjust the zones a little bit. Just gonna incorporate that low. All right, to the upside. All right, that will do. So we're going to mark in a 30-minute zone at the current level. You can see the price has just tapped into it recently. Now, structure on the M30 remains bearish and it will remain bearish until we close above this swing point. That is, again, this is the lowest point of the trend to the downside. That is the origin of the swing. So anything between at this rate is still technically bearish. On GJ right now, it's pretty choppy price action, a very slow trickle back up to the resistance. Not easy in my opinion, because below the current level we're running into some very choppy area price action. Just got wicks all over the place. As soon as you break one support, you run straight into another support, which makes it quite difficult, because really at anywhere in between these levels, at any of these levels, price could bounce back up and we could head back up to once again to retest the resistance. And if you finally have the volume momentum, eventually break it and perhaps retest the last significant lower high on the 30-minute time frame. So difficult right now on GJ. What I really like to see in this situation is clean move, and either A, look for a potential pullback and then it opens up this range to more probable sell options, or B, a clean move down. I'm gonna mark in this level of support for the time being, and if it does create a clean move down within the current daily, would have formed, you could argue, a high low or equal low. The last swing point is just really, I mean, it's this whole level, it's, you don't have 2 or more consecutive candles. But if we were to pull back towards that 197.10 to 197 flat, then we could look for potential options for a buy, so long as it's a relatively clean move back down to that support. So just going to mark in buys from that point there. Further buy options potentially above the resistance, and it just depends on how far it closes above it. Once again, it's going to be against the structure itself, but what we do have is, at that point, we'll be likely breaking a previous daily candles high. So we do have counter probabilities to the upside in the daily. The 4-hour will be breaking a previous 4, would have broken a previous 4-hour candles high as well. So we have counter probabilities across the board on the high time frames basically. So buys above that point there, I would entertain. Now, if we were to pop up only to reject and start to pop back below, then maybe we might have options to sell it. So long as we've got the margin to take it back down to any support. We're about to create another support just here, so it all depends on the margin, but I would consider the sell options, that's for sure. So let's just mark in sells, and further sell options. Yes, you're selling into the bottom third, but it's a lot cleaner and still have the margin. So long as we still have the margin below 196, 197 flat on a closure below, then we could also potentially look for options to sell it below that point there. So that is GJ for the time being, guys. Doesn't look crash hot in all honesty, but anyway, we'll see what eventuates over the next little while. Hopefully that made sense, guys. If it did, make sure to hit the like button. Again, please don't be shy to say g'day. Really would love for all of you, whoever pops on the stream, just as you pop on, just say hello. Once again, it'll help me out a lot to get the algorithm ticking over and we can get more people on these streams, on this stream. All right, on to gold. And we can see once again, sort of weekly, we've broken all over the previous weekly, barely. By the looks of it, we've just broken it. The low of this candle is, yeah, we've broken it by a point. How good are my eyes? By 1 point. So technically, we've got a lower low, lower high on the current weekly candle. And obviously a previous candle, long rejection to the upside. So if we were to break our own low, high probability we'll make another move, continue to the downside. However, we'll see what we've got once again out to the 4 hours. I think we're at a pretty solid level of support. So daily structure bullish, counter probabilities bearish. Just marking the current daily candles high. So we have a higher low, lower low, lower high. Don't necessarily need to pull back and break our own high. We'll see if we've got some minor resistance at that level that we could potentially look for options to buy above. Thank you for the sub. Onto the 4 hour, what we can see is the structure itself still remains technically bullish. It will still remain bullish so long as we remain above really this swing point here at 27.17 flat roughly. But we are, however, within price action. Obviously, with the rejection of that weekly candle, previous weekly candle, we are creating lower highs, lower lows within the micro trend, and we're now approaching, pulling back towards the resistance. Let's see what happens if we do approach and retest it. If we do reject it, then there could be options to take a sell back down, to retest the lows, and then if you have the volume momentum, potentially create a lower low and tap into this 4-hour support here to the left hand side. So we are technically bullish, but we do have the micro trend trending to the downside. Within the current daily candle as well, we'll see more information on the 30-minute time frame. Just gonna mark in these levels for the time being. So the 30 at this rate still remains bearish, and what we can see within the current daily, obviously we have created the highest, we're approaching the current daily counts high yet again. We have created a low and potentially an equal high just now. So if we do, again, we begin to reject, there could be options for potential sells. We have made a reasonably clean move up to this most recent resistance, so I'm just going to mark that in. It's just above the current daily counts high. Now if we were to reject, I'm going to look for my single zoom price action to take a potential sell from the current level. So if you're looking for sells, we are technically bearish as long as we remain below this point here. So therefore it would be a good option if I can get involved to look for my sells. Now to the downside, what I want to do is I'm going to mark in this level because it's a lot cleaner once we pop below 27, 23, 34 to be exact. That point there is a high probability of me coming back down towards the lows here at 27.17. So still below that point there. Now aside from that, the most immediate range we've got is on the 30-minute between 27.32 and 27.38. If we were to now just make a clean move down and we could not get in the sells for whatever reason, then I'd be looking to see how price reacts to this support. We create an equal low. It could provide options to take a buy. If we have the volume momentum eventually begin to pop above this 27.40 sort of level, at that point there we can look for our potential buys as well. So be looking for the buys from the pullback. Once again, the current daily is technically falling bullish, so could just pull back once again to grab a little bit more liquidity. Go ahead, back up. It would have flipped bearish at that point though. But if we do create that equal low, in my opinion, as long as we have the margin and the right confirmation, it would still make sense to look for the buy. Have we got the margin above this point? I think we do. Almost 40 pips. All right. Potential for buys as well, guys. On an anticipation, we could make a deeper pullback. Confirmation will be the 30-minute candle closing above. At that point, we will flip the structure bullish in the M30. Having bounced off this 4-hour support, that would be enough of a catalyst to look for a buy. Have we exhausted it all in the 15? Not quite. But let's see. If we do close above, there could be options. So gold, probably closer to a potential option just now. So we'll be focused more on that. I'll just remove some of these zones for the time being. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. So we'll focus on gold. I'm not going to take an impulse entry below the resistance as far as the buy, so I don't have any confirmation. It hasn't closed within my zone above 50% of from the low to the high of the zone. So I don't have the confirmation for the impulse entry, nor do I have any confirmation to sell it just yet. So just need to wait. GCAD quickly for anyone who is interested. I won't delete the drawings. I'll just remove them for the time being. Weekly, once again, weak bullish based on the previous, very little volume within the current candle. Previous daily closed bearish. Structure wise, it's still technically bearish in the daily. Very difficult to know what to make of that though. It's just in real consolidation on the higher time frame. It's quite evident on the 4-hour just now as well. Structure again remains bearish though on the 4-hour. Nothing much has changed in terms of structure. The 30-minute did reject that level I mentioned yesterday that I'll be looking for rejection of. Could have possibly been maybe some entries, but once again the analysis was spot on. So same thing applies today. I'd be looking for sells, and I'd just be looking to see where price potentially pulls back to, when right now at a resistance. To be honest, the deeper it pulls back, the better, because the more margin there will be to sell it back down. So I'd be just looking for the sell options. Sells below 180.30 roughly would be, in my opinion, a good option if it made a clean move up. And the only time I look for buys at this stage is if we did pull back down towards 179.90 for a potential buy above that point. So that is GCAD, guys. Below the current support, you've got very little margin. It looks like you've got a fair bit of margin, but reality is you don't. It's just, you got to really market him from below support. Once you count for spread, you have like 9 pips, so it's not enough. But anyway, that's GCAD. We'll focus on gold. Let me say good day to those in the chat. Chris, thank you for that before. Sharif, morning to you. Carl F, morning. Still great. You're fine, my friend, and I appreciate you being here. Franco, morning to you as always. Beats, good morning, my friend. Michael, all good, mate. Good to see you on the stream. Hope you're well. Marvy, good morning to you. Full sends. Hey, mate, what is London Open now? Been trying to figure out what Davis haven't changed it. It's, where are you? In my time, it's in 53 minutes from now, 52.5 minutes from now. So 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Yeah, Queensland. You guys are on the same time as Melbourne now, aren't you? During Daylight Savings, I'm pretty sure. When it's not Daylight Savings, I think you're 30 minutes behind. Something like that. It's confusing, but yeah, pretty sure. It's just after 6 p.m. here, so basically it's at the turn of the next hour is London Open. Lau, good morning to you, my friend. So the focus is definitely gold. Goldman, gold today, election time, can touch 26.75 area, fly high. What your view? I'm just going to look at it technically, because I mean, no one knows what will come out of the election news. So just technically speaking, I feel there's a good chance it's going to tap into 27.44 to 48 at the moment. Retest that resistance where we potentially look for the sells, because I'm not taking the impulse entry just now. And if it rejects that zone, it would not surprise me if price came back down towards the current daily candles low. What is your view? If you don't mind sharing. Appreciate everyone's opinion. Full sends, so 7 p.m. for New South Wales is London Open. 7 p.m. for Victoria is London Open. Spoken like a true Victorian. The arch enemy, New South Wales. So yeah, it's the same time. Melbourne and Sydney, same time, mate. Your view, 26.75. I mean, it definitely could with the news about. It's a long way to go, but I mean, who knows? I'd just be happy to grab 10, 20, 30 pips prior to any of that, to be honest. Alright, could be limit orders. Could have limit order buys, because we are trending. It's not like we come from consolidation. Be limit order buys based on 15. First of all, can't tap in a target. I don't want to close for 30 pips above. Right now it's about 16, 17 pips above. The limit order would have to be at the high of that bearish candle. So whatever that point is on your broker, that is what I would be keeping an eye on at the moment. Good news with that is you get a better stop loss as well. You get a tighter stop loss, so stop loss would be about 23, 24 pips So on IC markets, that particular candle high. Let me just confirm. $27.39.54. Yeah, 27.39.54 is the actual spot on IC markets. Stop loss would be about 23, roughly 23 pips. So minimum has to close 10 pips above, 8 to 10 pips above. Members, just send you guys a link for those who are interested in joining the Zoom call. So 3 minutes remaining. Where does it have to close above? Well, 27.39.58 on this chart, so 27.40, 38. So this is where we want to close above for it to be valid. Whoop, shit. Really broke the cup. So looking for a potential limit order buys on gold in just over 2 minutes. Now we don't have the confirmation just yet, the 30-minute structure flipping back bullish. But I do have a catalyst, and we do have some clean traffic to the left. We do have a bit of margin as well, so assuming good morning to you, my friend. Welcome. Alright, just over a minute remaining, guys. So once again, whatever the highest point, if you are following along and you are interested in this trade, I'd be looking at whatever the highest point of that resistance is on your broker of any bearish candle. So on the 15-minute time frame I'm talking about, seeing we're trading it based on the 15-minute time frame. And that is where you want to place your order, your pending order, your stop loss below the current candle's low, current M30. Now the conditions is the new candle cannot break the high of the previous. So the new candle can't break the high of this candle prior to entry. And it has to close above that horizontal. All right. Looks good. Don't want to break the high of that previous candle. Alright, so that's a pending order, but if it breaks the high of the previous candle, it's no longer valid. Alright, it's broken it, so as a broker, I'm going to check my broker, just to be sure. No, equal high. Yeah, my broker hasn't broken yet. Broker hasn't broken yet. It's not broken a high yet. It's created an equal high, so still at the moment technically valid. All right, so it's no longer valid. It's broken high. So removing the order. Once again, I'm just following the rules. So now we could look for the same entry based on the 30. As long as it doesn't tap in the target, we could have the same entry eventuate on the 30. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on. Same rule applies, has to close above minimum 8 pips. And it can't tap into this target. So still got potential options. A little bit of an eye on GJ, but gold does look better. Guys, as always, you guys know the drill. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to ask me to look at a particular pair for you. I'm happily do so. In the meantime, guys, I quickly have to do something. I'll be back in a minute or two. Don't go nowhere. Be back, guys. Alrighty guys, apologies. Yoga, how you managed during the drawdown? Just watch the streams, man. I have some strict rules when it comes to managing drawdown. I look for depending breaks of candles, highs and lows, depending on what direction I'm in trade. So if I'm in a buy, for instance, I can go down to the 15 and look to see if we broke the previous 15-minute candles low. I can begin to manage my trade in drawdown. I can manage the trade in drawdown if candles are closing against me on the 15-minute or maybe the 5-minute. Usually I wait for the 15. When it flips, if it's bullish, I'm in a buy and it flips the opposite direction, then there's many different ways. You'll pick it up a lot from just watching the streams. But I'm really strict when it comes to trade management. I don't like being stuck in drawdown. I like to keep my losses small because it makes it so much easier to cover the loss on your next win. Contemplating GJ sells as well. If this candle closes back, I will prefer it to close bearish engulfing on 15. The issue with that is we likely won't have the margin, but we'll see. Still could present. Gold's still a chance as well, guys. Gold hasn't yet made the move. But I feel, I think it's very important to manage trades in drawdown, personally. If you're not going to manage in drawdown, then I suggest you need to have a wider target as well. And just basically set and forget once you're in it. I'm a believer of managing trades in drawdown. I've got a whole section of my course devoted to trade management with about 5 videos roughly on it. More actually, I think there's about 7 or 8 videos just on trade management in my course in the trade management section. I've done an educational video on top of that into the VIP as well. So the VIP includes the course, but I've also added another video on trade management more recently as well. Tell you what though, I think no matter what the result of the election is, I think there could be issues in America after it. Either way, obviously one side of the fence, people are going to be standing or sitting or standing behind, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy. So it would not surprise me at all to hear about riots and things like that. It would not surprise me if whoever loses will challenge the verdict. Going to be very interesting nonetheless. Alright, so we're about to pull back and tap into that zone. I just tapped into it. Now what we want to see is price bounce off it and close back above this horizontal in the next just over 4 minutes. this thing closes weak bullish back below, I'm going to look for a sell as well. Because that will still be bearish in structure. We would have tapped into a level of liquidity, only to reject. That would have suggested to me that perhaps it would just grab some liquidity from the upside. And if we've begun to break this candle's low, it'd be a good chance and high probability it will continue down to the most recent support. Chris, it will affect us either way. Yeah, I'm sure it would. We just dangle from the strings of America. We're their puppet. Alright, so it's bouncing off right now. This is alright. This is what we want to see. Alright, so what did I say before? 27.39.54. Excuse me. Alright, JJ, it looks as though it may close a little bit too strong, so not going to be valid, likely for the sell. Now, continuation buys are potentially valid as well, because what we've done within the catalyst candle is we've pulled back and we've tapped in to that resistance. Now, we've had a candle closing back bearish, followed by a candle that's retested that zone, and we're bouncing off it to close back above on the M30. So, potential buys upon continuation. The issue with that is you probably use the 15-minute as your stop loss. That is the other option, guys. So I prefer to gain a discounted rate, but if it doesn't pull the way back, what I will do is I'll likely set a buy stop above the current counter's high as well. If I don't get triggered into the limit order, then I might get triggered into the buy stop. So I'm going to set the order just now for the limit. So again, that is option one. Now the second option is let it create a decent low wick. If it breaks the high of that previous candle, then it could be option to buy stop it. So looks like we might get triggered on limit order. Very close to it. So once again, the other option is buy it above the previous candle's high. All right, I'm in. So let's see. Now it's a very difficult one to manage because you don't have any, you're breaking, your entry is at the previous M15 low. So we're counting on it bouncing off this resistance. The only way to really manage it is if it starts to perhaps pop below this previous resistance, you can potentially cut half. But for the time being, I'm leaving it open. But these are generally a lot more difficult to manage. I'll let you know, guys, if I do decide to manage it. Yeah, if it pops below, I'm going to close half. If it pops below that previous resistance. Yeah, I've just closed half at -12. Strong pullback on gold right now. Really, a lot of volume in the first 5 minutes. That's a massive sell. So normally I'd wait for a 15-minute closure to start managing it, or to manage it further. Still a fair way off that. We've got more than 10 minutes remaining. Chris closed half the position. All good, mate, all good. Yeah, if this candle breaks so low again, I'll probably just close the whole thing. Yeah, I've closed minus 16, broken its own low. The 5 minute is flipping bearish now too, so saved myself a little bit of the original position. So I've closed the minus 12 and minus 16. It's what it is. I felt it was a good trade. We've had the 30-minute flipping bullish. He had a nice strong closure above. So in my opinion, I think it was an entry I would take pretty much every day of the week. So it's just one that didn't work, but it is what it is. So that is that. Yeah. Now, is there possible re-entries? It has to now close weak bearish if there is a possible re-entry, and that would be upon continuation. So that would be potentially above that candle's high. Has to close weak bearish, has to pop back above. I may have cut it a little bit short, but too early. But again, it's just the way I manage things. So in the end, it makes the loss a lot smaller. So that is gold. Not a great start today, but all good. What's number 14 for the stream? All good. All part of the game. GJ, nothing yet on GJ. This is good on GCAD. This is what I wanted to see. A nice clean pullback. Because what that does is open up this range to more probable entries, in my opinion. So GCAD looking okay if it does reject. Recommend a self breaks low of the bull M30 candle. Full sense on what? Talking about gold. If gold, you have to wait for closures, in my opinion. Needs to be a closure. This candle's got no upper wick. We've flipped the structure bullish. Yeah, I'd personally wait for a closure. But if you want to take it based off that, then by all means, if you've got your right signal within price action, but for me, I don't. So I'm going to stay away from that. I didn't take the GCAD yesterday. Oh, okay, yep. I'm in the fib retracement entry. Yeah, lucky you didn't take it, mate. Yeah, that's not how I try. I do use the fib, but not that way. Not to set a limit order, or unless it's tapping into a zone and it's anyway. That's something you'll have to wait to see on stream. But for me, I use the fibs very differently. I use the fib to gauge the strength of a candle more so than the impulse itself, than the impulsive leg. Yeah, so I feel it's pretty well managed. Again, it's difficult to manage those sort of entries, but I still don't like to take a full loss, so I always begin to manage it. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do based on the 15 because the entry was at the previous 15-minute candle's low, so maybe that's something to look into as to why it didn't work. But nonetheless, for me, it was still a valid entry, and I think it's been managed quite well, so wait and see what happens now. What would be nice for any sell options would be if this candle closed pretty much as so on a 15, only to be followed by a little pause, closing still the M30 back a strong bearish candle. So followed by maybe something like this. And then on the following M30, as price begins to break the minor support, there's your potential entry. The 30-minute will close back a strong bearish candle looking, let me just get rid of this for a second. M30 will look like so. And it'll be pretty much engulfing that previous 30 if that was to be the case. So again, I'm just playing ahead. It can do whatever it wants. It might just melt now, but I'm not comfortable with taking that option. So I'm personally just waiting. Chris, can I look at AUD CAD? Would like to get your insight on that one. Most certainly I can. AUD CAD. Or big gap on this. Let me see if I can find it one. Same shit. We'll just use this then. Alright, so looking at the weekly, open a big gap to the upside. I mean, there's gaps all over the shop with this. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm just going off what I see, and that's bearish. Weak bearish candle, I'd call that. Previous and the current weekly. Current one is forming bearish apparently, but has a higher low, higher high to that previous candle. Daily structure is bearish. This is so annoying, so off-putting. Very difficult to mark in zones and things. That's what, when you see gaps like that, but I will mark in that level there, and I will tell you that the 4-hour structure is based off the gap. Actually, this candle close just closed above the swing point. The 4-hour structure is technically bullish. So you got weekly bearish, daily bearish, 4-hour as bullish, recently bounced off a support here to the left. We're in the top third of the range though, so not the best area to really get involved with buyers. In a 30-minute structure, I don't know what to make of that gap. I'd call it bullish. Just trying to imagine that wasn't there, and if that was the case, then it's technically still bullish. Yeah, right. So it's bullish. So therefore, the bias is neutral. Wow, an M30 being bullish. It's quite choppy, to be honest. To the left, I mean, there's no real clean areas to look for the buy option, but what I would suggest is within the current daily candle, we have formed obviously support. We've formed higher low, higher high. If we pop back down to retest this support and respect it around at 91.60, 650, then I'll look for a potential buy from that point. That's what I'd be looking at. So buys upon the pullback. Now, seeing we are approaching resistance, there is very little margin to take it up to that level. So what I'd rather do is just wait and see how price reacts to it. If it did reject, there'd be some potential sell options below it. And above that, obviously it's very clean above the resistance at 92.062 for potential buys. So buys above. Sells below. And buys above. Now, is there any margin to sell below this support? That's what we need to see. Not really. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'd be looking at. To be honest, right now it's kind of in the middle. If you just now see this as the minute range, 30-minute support to the 4-hour resistance, you can see we're right in the middle, and there's no real signal in price action for an entry. Yeah, I'd just be waiting, to be honest. So we got caught out in a bit of a pullback on gold, in a bit of a fake out. Looks like it is a liquidity grab. Now the way to avoid that is by, well, first of all, not taking a limit order and just simply waiting for price to retest that zone and begin to bounce off it, and you enter either as it flips or preferably as it breaks the high of that previous candle. Because at that point there you got higher highs, higher lows, and it's more probable that price will end up back at the resistance. So that is the best way to approach those sort of entries to ensure you don't get caught out in a liquidity grab. That's just what I've been caught out in. So we swept the Asian session highs, and now looks like we're grab that liquidity to end up back in the range below and potentially coming back down to 27.32. Sean, g'day to you, mate. Hope you're well. Welcome. Flip Spot, g'day to you. Chris, not a problem, mate. So will gold close back weak bullish? If it does, I will look for a sell, and that is probably going to be the last opportunity for me for today. GJ is just not moving at all. It's stuck at the exact same level it's been stuck at since the beginning of the stream. I mean, bearish engulfing M30 is a potential entry, but again, you just got to bear in mind you don't have much margin. Want this to pop up. Sean? Excuse me. Yes. Don't have to stress it, because this time wasn't a win. This time was a loss on gold buy limits. Sure, that's all good, mate. It's all part of it. We're allowed to take losses. Not phased at all because I followed my rules, my plan, so it's all good. Got to go in about 20 minutes, so I'll just get another one after that. Might get one shortly. Weekend, same as always, mate. The weekend is, for me, it's not much fun. The weekend, to be honest, it's just busy with the other business on all weekend, so. Even more busy at the moment because my brother is away, so I'm going to be flat out for the next 2.5-3 weeks. It's not going to be fun, but Sean, all the press on you then. You gonna? Yeah, he's on a holiday, mate. So all good. It's nothing I've never done before, but it's just more work. That's the thing. GJ closes below that horizontal. I think gold looks like it might leave the building. There could be options on GJ. At that point there, we're gonna have a weak pause or a weak support forming at the resistance off the back of a 30-minute closing back a strong bearish candle. And that is what that would be based on. So need to wait for it to close below that horizontal. Gold could make the move just now, but I'm not prepared to take it just now. The other thing again is a potential limit sell now. The issue with that stop loss is going to be quite wide. Yeah, be looking about 37 pips, and similar to the previous one, very difficult to manage because the reason being is by the time you trigger in, you've already broken the high of the previous M15. So at that point, you're gonna have high, low, high, high on the 15. That would normally be a point where I start managing the trade. In this case, it'd be the exact same scenario where you're just gonna have to really, if it starts to pop back above that resistance, so you probably just cut the whole thing. Hang on. Interesting. The other option is GCAD, guys. GCAD is rejecting. It's tapped into the resistance here on a 4 hour. Pretty strong rejection along the upper wick. Within it, you got 15 potentially engulfing. So that is the options right now. Could be either gold or GCAD. Got the hourly closing on gold, closing bearish. Don't mind that, to be honest, because the new candle potentially wicking up, creating this upper wick, tagging you in, and if the resistance is to hold and we are to move in line with the previous candle, that would be a pretty good point of entry. Usually around the open of the previous candle is where you see a lot of time in this sort of situation price pull back to when you have a candle closing like so, or it begins to reject. Muhammad, yes, I know, that is true, but we're very far away off that still. It's obviously still very early in the US, or very early, I don't know what the time is, but yeah, I think that would be of more concern in about maybe 3 hours from now. 2-3 hours. Sean, all good? You think Trump's going back in? I think he is. Yeah, but it will not surprise me if he doesn't win it though, to be honest. Alright, GCAD's looking by far at the moment the best. Did I do SMC? Have we tried it? No. Got no opinion of it. It could be a very good strategy, but I'd not try it. I do not trade it. I may even trade it without even realizing it, to be honest. Alright, GCAD is valid. Based off, you got a 15-minute engulfing, pretty much engulfing. You got a 30-minute closing bearish with a long upper wick. So your entry would be a bit below the previous candle. Why does it look so wrong? Around 210. Something not right here, because hold on. No, sorry, 190. 210 is the previous candle low. I'm looking at IC markets. It looks very different, actually. Throwing me off a little bit. Yeah, so I'm in right now. It looks like it's massive difference here. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest. I don't like that. Mm. 195 was the entry. Yeah, it looks like it should have been much higher. I don't, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. It's just a visual thing. Maybe because there's not as much margin in these candles, not as much volume. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the entry. Gold breaking without no upper wick. Definitely not keen on that. GJ still back at the resistance, not moving. I already did analysis. GCAD is going for a rest of the order block, so it's a good entry. Retest. It's a valid entry. It's an entry I would take, you know, every day of the week. So again, it just looks funny. I'm not sure why. Again, if it's lack of volume in these candles, which makes it look like I'm entering about 5 pips too late. But anyway, we'll see. Now, the ways to manage this is if this candle broke its own high again, you could just cut the whole thing, to be honest. There's no need to break its own high. So we have pulled away from this resistance. We have a lower high, lower low in the current candle. Going to SMC, it's a good entry too, but you never know. Well, that's the thing. Markets are unpredictable, and all we can do is follow what we know as a signal within price action to enter. So that's what I do on the daily. Some days there is no entry. Mohammed, be happy if it works. So we'll see. Sean, all good, mate. You have a good day. Oh, only time will tell, but looks good. Well, that's it, exactly. And look as good as the textbook entry, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a win. I'm just going to adjust stop loss to just above the entry candle. Once again, it's just me mitigating risk. I never like to take a full loss. And in my opinion, we have no need to pull back and break our own high. We want to continue bearish. And if we do, maybe we're just tapping into this resistance and bouncing off it. So I wouldn't be comfortable just in case we do now create a higher low and end up back above this resistance. So soon see. In a tiny bit of draw now, or not anymore. We'll see. Or we could do retest the old blocks. Might flip, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We shall see. Once again, I'm just reacting to my confirmation, so. Oh, but the bearish sentiment is strong. It is, in my opinion, bearish in bias. Yeah, so we'll see. If it works, good. If it's not, if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, so. Look at gold, cheeky bugger. It looks very similar to GCAD, still lagging slightly. So on this particular broker, it's closed a little bit higher up. That's why it looks so different on my chart. What's the secret being so calm? I haven't seen a trader as calm for a while. Just trusting your plan, your analysis. I think the win rate just goes to show. I mean, it's dropped to probably below 82 at the back of that loss, and maybe, who knows, if this loses, it'll be back around the 81%. But just trusting that, I know, you know, 8 times out of 10, I'm going to be correct. So sometimes I'll have a couple losses in a row, but often I find I come back really strong. So again, it's just following the same shit that works for me day in, day out, knowing that you're gonna have to take losses. It's all part of it. Consider it like an expense. I used to get shitty, I used to get emotional, I used to revenge trade and do all that stupid shit. So I've learned from that. I've learned the hard way. I've done a lot of stupid shit in the charts, blew a lot of cash. So I've learned, I just got to trust myself and have a solid set of rules and follow it, follow the plan, and just let it be. How much profit did I just have on the table? About 5, not quite enough to get to break even. I haven't lost part of trading. I guess you're more experienced than I've been trading for just over 7 years now. It's about 7.5 years. So as long as it's a loss that, you know, I follow my rules, my plan, I didn't do something stupid, then I can totally accept it. It's a part of it. But if I've done something out of character, based on emotions and FOMO and all that, then I feel that's when I get shitty at myself. Just take emotions out of it and trust what you are seeing. Exactly. That's, as soon as I learned that, just to be robotic about it, that's when things started to change. In all honesty, when things got a hell of a lot better. A.C.T's a slower mover than GJ and Gold, obviously. Armored discipline is 100% the key. Do not stress enough. That is probably the best thing I've got going for my training. Very strict and very disciplined. A plan. That's why I try to teach my guys. I try to give them the heads up by having my playbook on every single entry type and how I go about entering it and how I go about managing the trades in drawdown or in profit. So we're coming towards the close of the 15. We're bouncing off some of this resistance to the left. My slight concern is the new candle could pull back, create deeper upper wick if we were to bounce off this level and then we end up back up near our high. At that point I'd be out of the trade. So what I might do is I might close half if it did get to back to the entry. And again, just help once again, just mitigating the risk, making the loss a lot smaller if it does get back to entry and if it does end up retracing further. Seeing I had about just over 5 pips on the table. It's such a slow burner compared to obviously Gold and even GJ. Never used to be. When I traded a couple of years back, this thing would give you, we've had London Open by the way, forgot to mention it. This thing would give you 10 pips in seconds. So apologies guys, I didn't realize it's London Open. Too focused on this trade. Beats watching Australian Sols give me a lot of patience, and sometimes you miss a trade, but the win rate is much higher. Patience and staying calm is the key to success. Again, very much so. I'm glad that you learned something from these streams and you're helping you to change your training and become a more disciplined trader. It definitely leads you to taking more quality entries, less impulsive entries, and you feel more relaxed in your trades as well. So if this thing comes back to entry, may even close the whole thing, just so it end the day in a small in one loss on gold. I don't want to prefer to be able to leave it at that, because in my opinion this thing probably should have made the move already. And the other option is to close half if it comes back to entry and just let it do its thing. Jacob, you just came in the chat. Well, I'm currently in a GCAT sell, so just a little bit late to that. Mohammed, yeah, took a gold sell limit, buy limit, sorry. Which again ticked all the boxes, so me not at all disappointed, but it ended up being a lot. First loss for well, actually I took one loss last week. No, it's not. It's just part. It's again. I don't see it as luck, hard luck, or good luck, or whatever. I just see it as it's just part of trading. That's how I see all this. Any result. Yes, I expect to win, but I know I'm not going to win every trade. But you should go into every trade thinking that it's going to be a winning trade, because it should have ticked all the boxes in accordance to your rules, your plan. Knowing that your edge works for you, and you should feel fine in the trade. Yes, you need to, in my opinion, manage it. Not everyone does manage their trades, and that is fine. So I prefer to manage my trades, and whatever it will be in the end, the result. So gold's come right down to the support. GJ is just trash. About GU, has it made a move? A little bit, but again, not only a few pips. A.C.T and GU very slow. No, I would get everyone has their own strat. Yep, 100%. So if it does, I've got stop loss break even, guys, because we have tapped into this level and we will again remain above it. The candle closing is important. Yep, 15 did close. It closed strong bearish. Current candle is respecting low of it, and we are at this stage respecting this resistance to the left as well. So perhaps it might act as support. So once again, I feel more comfortable being at break even now. And if this candle closed weak bullish, yeah, and I'll be fine as long as on the 15. I mean, so long as the new candle doesn't break that candle's high. Because if it does, it's likely gonna tap into the entry and take me out. So yeah, looks like I'm gonna get tagged out. Still in it, but might not be for long. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we shall do it. I mean, if it closed weak, bullish in at 15, then again, I would have another candle to sell it, but you wouldn't have the margin to sell it this time below the pause candle. Yeah, I'm about to get tagged out. Yeah. Break even. There you go. All right. And follow the plan. So I'm out break even. Again, happy with the management because it's pulling back a bit further just now. And that's it. It's just how it is today. One loss and one break even. Yeah. So I'm all good because I've already managed it. So it's all good. It's bouncing off this resistance, which is fine. That's why I chose them to get to break even. GJ struggling. It's an absolute mess at the moment. Right now, I think GJ just need to wait for it to create a clean move. Can't open this level to potential trades again. This range, this current range. Potentially like so. You can look for buys from the support, or if it does bounce off the support, look for your potential sells below it, below the resistance. So, and that's GJ for now. Just need to wait. Wow, look at gold. I'm gonna stay away from gold. I don't trust it. Do not trust it. This is looking very suspicious at the moment, to be honest. Very suspicious. Flip the structure bullish in the M30, grabbing liquidity from the upside. It's come back down to the support, and it leaving at this stage a long wick to the downside at the support. Again, maybe we're just grabbing some more liquidity. So for me, I'm probably just going to stay out of it for the time being. Beats, you just can't always score. Sometimes the influence of the big boys is so strong they give the wrong signal. That will always be there. Yeah, I mean, once again, no one's got 100% strike rate as well, so knowing I'm gonna take, likely gonna be a loss a week if you have 5 trades a week. No, I don't always have 5 trades. Sometimes I have 5, sometimes I have 6, sometimes I have 2, 3. But knowing on average, out of 5 trades for the week, I'll have 4 wins and a loss on average. It's not every week. Some weeks I'll have only wins. Some weeks I've had 1 week this year where I only had, I think it was 2 losses and a break even. At close to the start this year. I think it was March or something, or April, something like that. And I've had streaks. I've had multiple streaks of over 10 wins in a row. I think the biggest one this year so far was about 16 or 17 wins in a row. So you gotta have these times, guys. It's fine to take a loss. There is nothing wrong with taking a loss. And you don't see me trying to jump back into gold. I'm happy how I managed GK, because look at it now. So it's respecting this level. Let's look at GU. 1 sec, guys. Alright, so GU. Once again, this is going to be influenced by the election as well. It is obviously a major. Tied to the US dollar. Open big gap to... Let's look at... I will keep this chart. Open big gap to the upside based off the previous week candle. Week bearish. Daily structure is bearish. You've got the previous daily closing a weak bullish candle. Good chance if we broke the low of that candle, we're going to fill this gap to the downside. Our structure is technically bearish so long as it remains below resistance it's most recently rejected. So we've got the 4-hour bearish, we've got the daily bearish. Weekly did say it was bearish, and the M30 structure at this stage is technically bearish as well. So the bias is to the downside. I'd just be adjusting this zone right now, and it is an absolute mess to the downside. So now what I want to see on GU, for me the options would be, right now we're kind of in the middle of this range towards the top third. I wouldn't be chasing the buys. What I'd be doing is waiting for it to make a decision which way it wants to move. If it's to be the upside, I'd be looking for a rejection of 129.950 and await a price action catalyst for potential sells. At that point, you may have grabbed enough liquidity from the upside, begin to look for our sellers to take it back down in line with the bias, in line with the structure. Now, closures above that point, you're going to start flipping the 30-minute bullish. Potentially, is it the 4 hour as well? The 4 hour as well be flipping bullish. So what it may be best to do is wait for a 4 hour closure above. At that point, you're going to have obviously the 30-minute bullish as well. And it's more probable at that point there. You also have the daily bringing a higher high to the previous daily candle. And I feel that point there might have enough volume to, if it has enough volume to get up towards that 130.250, that quarter number. For me, the psychological numbers, the quarter numbers and the half numbers and the whole numbers, so that could be a potential level, but I'd be a little bit concerned by the resistance a little bit lower down, just above that 130.10 as well. So I'd be looking to manage a trade at that point. But ideally, so long as it remains below that resistance, I prefer to sell it. And the only other option for me is if it come back down, you could drag this zone up a bit, because this is one big level of liquidity. But I would say I'd preferably want it to tap into that 129.50. Again, the psychological round number. Likely going to be a lot of buy orders at that point there. A lot of the algorithms, the entries are set at those psychological numbers, so I'd be looking for a price to bounce off that level and await a price action catalyst for a potential buy from above that 129.50 flat. Right now, it's just right in the middle. There's nothing on it, in my opinion. I hope he flipped up, tapping into the 1 hour order block. No worries, part of it. That's it, mate. 100% is all part of it. And I respect the way you trade. And I just do me in this stream, but I've always said there is no right or wrong. It's just whatever works for you, and this is what works for me. It's not going to work for everyone. Not everyone's going to understand it. I've never really looked into smart money concepts or any of that stuff, A.C.T and all that stuff, to be honest, because I haven't felt a need to be honest, because it's not broke. What I do for me is not broke, so there's no point. But again, if that's what works for you, or if it works for someone else, then by all means. But just look after ourselves in this game. But encourage one another. That's the thing. I'm trying to create a community here, you know. Don't expect everyone to agree with what I do. And it's good we have different opinions. But it's just good to have other people to trade amongst. Just, we got something in common, obviously, we trade. Not many people do it, to be honest. I never walk down the street and meet another trader. Just doesn't happen. Got out at the right time? Yeah, I agree. Tony Gold, G's definitely look good. Good day to you too. Yeah, at the moment I just feel it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. That's my opinion of it. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, gold. Yeah, alright. Well, there it goes. Grab liquidity from the downside, closing week bearish. Yeah, I did say I'm going to stay away from it, but that would have been a pretty good signal. Not going to lie. But it's all good. It's just not my day. Khalif, one of the best, most honest, supportive and buff traders out there. Just doesn't have hair. I do, mate, just not on top of the head, but I have plenty of hair. Yeah, thank you. You get some fitness advice here as well. You get some nutritional advice. You get investment advice. Not that any of this is investment advice, but I'm not actually talking about the trading, about what I personally invest in. I mentioned many times that certain things assets I invest in. But yeah, have a bit of fun on the streams as well. But that wouldn't have been a bad move. I wonder if anyone took it. I didn't, guys. I totally missed it. Beats Voyager, if you had 2 losing trades, do you stop or just look for? No, I definitely stopped for today. 100% I stopped for today. Because at that point there, I feel like you're going to get involved based on emotions. You're going to have that feeling in the back of your mind that you want to get that loss back, and you're going to start chasing. And what if you take that 3rd trade and it ends up being another loss, and you're just not going to feel great about yourself? So what I mentioned to my guys, have a rule where you either trade once a day and just be happy with that win, lose, or draw, twice a day, and once again, for first trade's a loss, still got one more trade up your sleeve. Yeah, and I go about managing trades, so between 2 losses I might take 1 full loss, if that makes sense. And the max I would take personally is 3 as the max I would consider taking of a day. And oh man, look at that. Yeah, it's just not to be my day, but all good. The other thing, you can have a rule best of 3, but yeah, I mean, it's basically 2 trades is the max. I will be on later with the members for pre-NY, and we'll see how we go, guys. It's midnight now, NY session for me, so it's a little bit of a stretch, but I should be right for today. Be on for the open tomorrow. I'll be on for pre-NY. I can't promise the open because I've got an early start on Thursday, my brother being away. And Friday, guys, I'm not sure if I'll be on stream, to be honest, because I'll be getting back probably when the stream is about to normally start, so I'll have to keep you guys posted. But it might be the next 2 Fridays, and that's it. I'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I'm not going to get another trade. Just to conclude, what I'd be looking at, I mean, GJ, it is just consolidating. It is a mess. You don't really have the margin to look for an entry, in my opinion, below the current support. You're not going to have it. That's just the fact of the matter. So as per earlier, closures above, and then I'd consider looking for the buy options. What would be best is to wait for the 4-hour closure at this point, and well, actually, would I take it before? Probably would still take it before it. But otherwise, it would be great if the new 4-hour did close above, and then we had a little bit of a pullback on the, sorry, if this 4-hour closed above, and then we had a little bit of a pullback on the new 4-hour, create a high low, and then start looking for the buys above this point. But look, so long as you get a nice closure above, I feel it's still valid. As far as the sells from this point, I feel we just gonna need to wait for it to cut through that mess, and if you can get your buys from the support, fantastic. If not, wait for it to bounce back up, reject, and potential sell options based off that. Gold, well, that was the potential move. Apologies for missing it, but it's what it is. So for gold, I think best to avoid it personally. That is my honest opinion. I think because I'm not going to be back on the charts for a while, and by the time I'm back on the charts, it's too close to obviously the big day getting underway. So, but if you are looking to trade it right now, I feel a bit late. If you wanted to be in buys, I'd be looking for price to reject that level yet again for a potential sell. Actually, you know what? I'd be waiting patiently for it to pop up. Be extra cautious with it today. Wait for it to pop up to that 4-hour resistance and see if it's going to reject and hold. If it does, you've got more margin to play within as well. If it does make a clear move up to reject, I'd be avoiding the buys above this point, because you're buying at the top, really into the top third of this range. And in all likelihood, if it did close above, you're not going to have the margin and take it back up to upon continuation to the high. That's about it. Further buys above the resistance here, 127.48, and further sells below 127.31.8. Yeah, that's it. Do it now. Damn. All part of it. All part of it. But again, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not gonna chase it. It's too late. I'll stop too. Thanks for the stream. Beats, all good, man. All good. So yeah, so here's what it is, guys. Unfortunately, ends up in a losing day, but it's all good. We come back tomorrow, same time, same place, and we go at it again. See what we can come up with tomorrow. I'm expecting a bit of volatility again tomorrow with obviously some results from coming through from the election. So yeah, we'll see how things pan out and look at that. But trade safe, guys. Trade safe. Don't do anything stupid. Members, I shall see you guys a little bit later on. I'll keep you guys posted. Till tomorrow, guys. Take care. Trade safe. I'll catch you then. Cheers, guys. All the best. Bye.